We are joined by our Senior Counsel for Global Affairs, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and I want to get right into it. A lot of news coming out of China over the weekend. Secretary Pompeo, Chairman Xi, a historic third term. They've changed the laws there, much like they did in Russia for Putin and now for Xi. What does this mean for China? This is new for them and their posture towards the rest of the world, because we hear a lot of, well, you can rely on us, like us or not. You can rely on our leadership, unlike those Americans with all their elections and their different leaders coming in and out. Rely on us. This is the only way the world works, in 2022.
Well, it's pretty clear, Jordan, that the Chinese Communist Party has made a decision. They are betting it all on Xi Jinping. He, as expected, has consolidated power. The folks on the board of directors, if you will, what's called the Politburo Standing Committee, are all going to be his close colleagues who think about China the same way that he does. And the translation back here at home, what that means for us is certainly a stasis in China, that is a continued leadership in China that is trying desperately to change the way we live. And you can see it in their efforts to conduct espionage here in the United States, their influence operations, their statements about America being in decline to be at the core of how they think about the world. It's what they tell the whole world. America's in decline. We're on the rise, and putting Chinese nationalism ahead of their own economy, right? They're in a really difficult economic place, and Xi Jinping seems unconcerned about that. He is going to use every tool he has to consolidate his own power, build his own military, so that they can accomplish what he says he wants to accomplish, to make China the global power in the world.
Do you think it makes him, in the short term, more aggressive once he, takes on this new mantle? He's like an emperor instead of just a party official moved in and out. Do you think in the short term we see a more aggressive China?
I do, Jordan. I think he'll feel bullish. He'll feel empowered. He'll feel like he is not at political risk inside of his own country. And I also think he'll feel, to your point, maybe, I think he'll feel like he now needs to demonstrate that he's going to use this newly provided power to demonstrate that he is capable and a firm leader. So, yes, I think we'll see a more aggressive China, not just militarily. We'll probably see them build and build and build. But he talked about, Xi Jinping in his 2-hour speech yesterday, talked about building their technology base, their innovation base, their economy, and all of the things that make a great power truly great.
I want to switch to Iran, because you've got a new piece up at aclj.org from Secretary Pompeo. It's right on our homepage, aclj.org. And the title is Biden's Paltry Response to Iran Protest Empowers the Regime. Is this just a repeat? I mean, we even saw an outbreak of protest inside where we've had clients in Evin prison. I mean, this is, again, kind of next level of protest inside Iran, and yet the U.S. seems to just be ignoring it, the government.
Yeah, this looks like Obama 2.0, or worse yet, Obama 3.0, in terms of being so committed to cutting a deal that we all know would give Iran a pathway to a nuclear, but to getting this deal done that when the Iranian people rise up, they this time are mouthing good things, but they are still intent on providing an outcome that'll give the regime, if not tens, if not hundreds, at least tens of billions of dollars to use to put down these riots. I saw that at Evin prison. There was a fire. Apparently there were people killed. That is one of the most horrible places on earth. You talked about ACLJ clients being there. The stories that those folks must have told you are just heartbreaking. These are terrible people, a corrupt regime, and this administration ought to do everything it can to empower the freedom-loving people of Iran to throw off the yoke of the Islamic Republic.
Yeah, and then, I think it goes to, as well, we haven't had a chance to talk about this reevaluating of relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia. It feels like we're going all in with Iran. I mean, at a time when it just seems like there's so much international uncertainty. There's what's going on with Russia, Ukraine, obviously, with the Chinese that we were just talking about, and now we are upsetting a relationship with the Saudis. And I would imagine some of this must be to try and appease the Iranians.
It's really not in America's best interest. Think about this. We're trying to help Ukraine push back against Russia, but we're giving money to the regime, the Iranian regime, that is sending drones and now apparently missiles to the Russians to kill Ukrainians. It's just, it boggles the mind. And your point about what the administration has done in the Middle East more broadly, right? They've antagonized the Gulf Arab states. They've made life more difficult for Israel, our friend, our partner, our ally in the region, because they have chosen to go down this path and snuggle up to the Iranian regime. That's an enormous mistake for America. It's bad for the Gulf Arabs, and it's really bad for our friends in Israel as well.
Yeah, a final question for you today. And we just got this report out of Fox News that DHS is looking to send DOD, members of our military, to the southern border. And at first when people say this, oh, maybe that's to actually help with security at the southern border. But it's instead, it's to, as we put it, it's to serve illegal immigrants. It's to clean up trash, run errands. It's like this administration, they will not admit, even when they admit that they've got a problem, there's so much to deal with now. But using our military, the men and women, and putting the pressure on them to volunteer to go on this mission to the border, not to secure it, but to clean up trash and serve illegal immigrants. I would imagine there's a lot of other government agencies that could send people, and we don't have to be using our military.
Well, I hadn't seen that reporting. I think in some ways it tells you what the Biden administration thinks of our soldiers, our warriors, our Air Force, our sailors, our Army guys, right? To say, hey, we think best use of your time is to go work on a humanitarian mission inside the United States of America. And that mission may need to be accomplished. Sign me up for taking care of people who are in a bad place. But to think the Department of Defense is the right agency to do that is ludicrous, given what we've just spoken about with Iran, China, all of the challenges we face today. Now you're going to look, it's a symptom, right? They view the military as another political tool of theirs. And we talked about wokeism in the military a number of times. Again, I think they misunderstand the central mission of these talented young people who are willing to risk their lives for America. I hope that report turns out to be wrong, and they're not thinking about using our military in that way.
Yeah, I mean, Secretary Pompeo, as always, we appreciate it. I want to encourage people to go to aclj.org. Check out your new piece just up today at aclj.org. Biden's paltry response to Iran protest empowers the regime. Read it, share it with your friends and family. As always, appreciate Secretary Pompeo joining us.